I made an SCP game in 1 week. Here's how it turned out. I've always wanted to try out making a horror game, and I thought SCP might just be the perfect world to try that out. I mean, the SCP world has some of the most imaginative monsters and weird stories you could think of, so that's why I decided to make an SCP game. I set a few rules for myself, like the moment I started, I had 7 days to make the game. I also had to make all the models myself, but I allowed myself to use some free textures. And I wasn't allowed to use any reference images. This was also my first time making the game with the Godot game engine, and while I've used Unity in the past few years to make 3D games, I've never used Godot to make a 3D game, so it's gonna be interesting. The first thing I did was make a Trello board so I could organize all my tasks and just get a clear overview of them. Next up, I set up my project in Godot, and I followed a handy tutorial to tweak the standard character controller a bit. Next up was making a simple map that looks like a facility that the SCPs could be in. Luckily I found a tutorial that explained how you could make a simple tunnel-like environment by making a few tiles in Blender, and I adapted it to fit my own spooky SCP environment. After I exported the tiles to Godot, I was able to make a small testing area that already looked kinda spooky. I also got to thinking about the essentials of a horror game, and one thing a horror game absolutely needs is a flashlight. So, I added a simple flashlight that you can toggle with F, and it... As of now, the character can only walk and jump, so let's do something about that. I added a simple running function and of course a crouching function, and that should work fine, but okay, he's shuffling, never mind. Yep, that was a stupid idea anyway. Okay, so we fixed that, and now the character controller works, but it still needs some tweaks to really give it the horror game vibe. First off, changing the FOV while running, then some dramatic head bobbing, cause you know a horror game needs that. And lastly, some footstep sounds. Okay, so we've got all of the walking stuff down, but it's not an SCP game until there's an actual SCP there, so that's what we're gonna do today. Now, which one is it gonna be? That's right, you guessed it, it's in the intro, you know what it is, you saw him, it's Peanut. SCP-173, probably the most infamous SCP. I'm gonna have to draw him, model him, texture him, everything, without looking him up once. So I got to work with my drawing of him, and I quickly realized that, okay, I thought I knew what he looked like, but then I put the pen on the drawing tablet, and okay, maybe I don't. But eventually I realized, okay, just draw him like with baby proportions or something, and he already started looking a little more accurate, I think. There were still some details that I was absolutely lost about, like, does he have eyes? What do they look like? Did he have a mouth especially? I didn't really know. So when I was done with that, I modeled him in Blender and textured him using some free textures, and I think he came out looking alright, everything considered. I mean, he's not, you know, he's like store brand 173 maybe, like your local supermarket brand 173. I think that's fine, right? Look at him, look at the behind, look at the back of him. Look at that, he's got a wonderful, wow, that's a shit ass. Okay, so we're already at day 4, which means we're past halfway of the challenge. And, you know, today I had a college deadline, so it wasn't looking great for the work I was putting in, and if you look at the timestamp, you might be thinking, well, what does he do, and... Okay, we're already at day 5, and a lot of work is gonna have to be done. I was pretty committed to just do most of the work on day 5 and 6. That meant today was gonna have to be a grind though, and I started out by making the map. I just lined it out using basic shapes, and it was honestly pretty fun to just make up a layout on the spot. Now, the first asset that I wanted to make was a door, since the map doesn't really function well without them. So, I looked up how to make a door in Godot, and this part shouldn't be too hard. We just do this, and oh my god, it's okay. Well, that was a stupid idea anyway. So now the doors are gonna open when you look at them and you press the interact button, and okay, don't do that. So actually my plan all along was to make the doors open from the bottom to the top. I mean, that just makes sense honestly, and yep, it just works like that now. Now we had all the assets, it was time to just assemble it like IKEA or something. Man, I don't know, just look at the time lapse. And the last thing I did on day 5 was to actually make Peanut do something, like anything at all. I mean, I know he's supposed to be a statue or something, but this is going a little bit too far. So using Godot's navigation system mesh, I got him ominously following you around, and that's not how he's supposed to move obviously, but we'll get to that. So I've got SCP-173 moving around, but you only have to close one door and he's out of commission for good. So to fix that, he can now open those bad boys, and okay, that's already a little bit scary. However, SCP-173 is only supposed to move when you don't look at him, so in order to do that, I first had to figure out how to know if the player was looking at him. By the way, I asked a question about this on the Godot Discord and I just absolutely got ghosted, so... In the meantime, to cope, I continued drawing my funny map and realized that I was not going to add any more rooms than was necessary to it, since I was going to have to finish it fast. I also made the key cards that you can use to open the important doors, and I think they came out pretty alright considering I just kinda winged it from memory. But besides that, something else I wanted to add to the game were a few documents that you could look at that revealed a little more lore on the game and info on how to actually beat it. So I got to work writing a few of them, and next up I had to actually, make them work in the game. And you might think that's pretty easy, just like if the player presses it and looks at it, you just open it up and it works, but I'm gonna cut to the chase. I got stuck on this for like 6 hours, and why am I telling you this? Well, day 6 was basically me making the documents work, so whoopsie. No, but if you actually want to know what happened, basically it opened on your screen when you looked at it, but then once I added a second document to the game, it just didn't work anymore. And I still don't really understand why, and I also don't really know how to formulate even what goes wrong. But, I mean, you can look on screen right now, this is the code I wrote that fixed it, so... But you know what, I was under time pressure, so I'm not even gonna blame myself for it. At least it works now. But with the feeble time I had left, I added a simple main menu, and then went to bed, because I had to rest up for... The final day had arrived, and I had school from 9 to 5, so I knew it was going to be a bit of a night grind already. And I actually worked on the game in between classes at college, and coded in the logic for the endings actually triggering. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot to tell you. This game has a whopping 2 endings, but after that I finished off the map by adding some last details, like a radio that displays an MTF message. I even used one of my friends for free labor for it.
Any scientists are ordered to hide until further notice.
And after that I also updated the main menu to just make it look a little more swagged up. But now it was time for the most important mechanic to be added, Peanut actually, working. And basically I had to think of a way to know whether the player was seeing 173 or not, and it got a lot more complicated than you might expect. I thought there might just be a function to know whether something was in the screen, and Godot does have a thing called Visible On-Screen Notifier 3D that I thought could do that. But it just didn't seem to work, and this was what I actually asked the Godot Discord about, but they just... they don't care. They don't care about me. They hate me. So I had to look for an alternative solution. Luckily, I found a very helpful tutorial by indiedev, and it saved me a lot of time. So big thanks to this guy. But I'll give you the rundown of what exactly I did to make it work. So yeah, that was my tutorial. Hope you guys liked it. Anyway. SCP-173 should still move when you blink, and the easiest way I figured out to do that was to just make him have a small burst of movement every few seconds when he's on your screen, to just like simulate the blinking. And so I gave it a quick test run to see if everything was working as expected, and oh yeah, I also added the crucial neck snapping mechanic, if you couldn't tell. The last few hours I fixed some bugs and rounded everything up, and after that, well, I'd finally done it. Everything was done. But it was time for me to rest and await the next day, because it was gonna be time for a playtesting session. So my friend Holm does quality assurance for SCP Secret Laboratory, so that should make him the perfect target to test my video game out and see how scary it really is. He's gonna play, guys. He's gonna play. Okay, now you can play.
Oh my god. Oh, holy fuck. Is the jump scare really loud? Oh my god.
I'm not telling you anything.
Click to add subtitles.
You like it?
Wow, this is great.
That's impressive, right?
Yes, hello. Oh, he's free. Oh, I don't like him.
That's
Can you
weird.
get me on the table?
Well... You don't really have to test that.
The table doesn't detect him properly.
No, nope.
It's just an empty room.
Uh-oh.
He's not moving. Did I actually win?
No, he's... Oh, I don't think he won. I don't think he won.
This is so much more stressful than I thought.
Yeah. Well, listen, pal, you didn't get any of the endings, so you're gonna have to
I
try a
just
little bit
died.
harder. Yeah.
Oh,
What are you looking at?
what?
No. Oh no.
Face the closed.
I'm actually sad now. No. Oh. So now that everything's done and said, the game's out on itch.io, it's called SCP at Home, and you can play it for yourself, even though there will be numerous bugs that I am never going to fix. Also, I didn't tell you this before, but while I was finishing the game up, I actually added the secret third ending, and if anyone manages to find it, I'll be quite surprised, but do let me know please, because it would be quite funny. With that being said, thanks for watching. Okay, so now that you've played SCP at Home, as a SL tester, what do you have to say about it?
Shit game.